The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to Paranormal Concept right here on Parasearch UK Radio with your host, Paul Brook.
Good evening and welcome to Parasearch Radio. My name is Kerry Greenaway and I'm taking over the Paranormal Concept show tonight. Unfortunately, Paul is still feeling very poorly, so we wish him all the best and hopefully he'll be back with us very, very soon. Now, tonight in the studio, I have two incredibly funny people in the studio. They've had me in fits already.
Finally. Sorry, carry on.
I've got Alex King and Helena King from Living Paranormal. They are also organising Living Paranormal Parafest this year and also write the Living Paranormal Magazine. Good evening, guys. How are you?
We're good.
We're good. Hello.
We're good.
How are you?
I just...
We were having a very conversation before. We were having a very funny conversation before we went live. That was a bad idea.
It was.
It was a very bad idea, but we're focused now. We're live on air. We are
We're
now
with it.
live to the nation.
Paranormal serious. We're good.
Yeah,
Release the inner Zach Bagans. He doesn't seem to laugh at anything.
No, our hands are together, but just below our chins. This is our serious. We're serious now.
Serious professional faces on, guys. Right, so I want to start right at the beginning. You both run Living Paranormal, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did you get into that? How did you get into the paranormal, and what's made you set up your own team? Where did you all begin with this?
Well, I started when I was really, really young. I started my team at the age of 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's crazy.
That's really young.
Yeah, it's really, really young, and people seem kind of shocked by it. But I started it with my mum, and I remember I was watching Most Haunted with her, and I said to her, I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And she never turned around, and she never looked at me like I was strange or anything, because my whole life she was used to me seeing and communicating with spirits anyway, so she was used to it.
Okay.
And then I said, I want to be a paranormal investigator. That's what I want to do. So for my 14th birthday, she bought me a camera, voice recorder, and just little bits of kit, and helped me book our first investigation, because obviously I was too young.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just there for me, and she helped me start it. And we actually started where Most Haunted started. We started in Mitchell and Priory. That was our first ever investigation.
Oh, cool.
And I absolutely loved the building. The building was amazing. And then it sort of grew from it being like me, my mum, a few of my friends. Then it suddenly took off and more people started joining us. And it ended up to the point that we were doing investigations at least twice a month at one point. Just all over the UK. It was just crazy. And then, I met Alex, and I had to, how do you really turn around and say, I'm a ghost hunter? How'd you do that?
Yeah, because
know,
we met we're probably like a couple of weeks away from meeting exactly 9 years ago, and by October in 2009, she was going to the Mitchell and Priory again, so I just sort of tagged along, and I wouldn't say I didn't believe in ghosts, but I hadn't really thought about it. I mean, I'd watched a few episodes of Most Haunted, and I mean, I'm quite a sceptical person, so if I'm honest, I was watching it thinking bollocks. But that's only because I'm a very sceptical person, and I hadn't really thought about it. And then obviously on the investigation, it was really strange, and I've just sort of, well, we haven't been apart since, so I've just helped, haven't I? Really?
You at the start you had no idea what was going on.
No, I didn't know my ass from my elbow in terms of paranormal investigating. I still don't, but that's not the point. No,
I would say you know a little bit more than you let on there.
No, I with paranormal investigating, I wouldn't say I'm big-headed about it, but I do get very frustrated because I find too many people believe that something's a spirit when there's so obviously a reason for something, you know, of this world to explain it. You know?
Too many people do, like, they don't look for the logical. Too many teams do shout ghost at everything.
I think and people seem to get really protective over their own evidence as well. Like they so badly want something in it to be spiritual that they don't try and find a practical reason for it. But I mean, I know a lot about ghost hunting, but I wouldn't say I'm like I wouldn't say I'm like an expert.
I think
it's difficult for anyone to say that, you know. But I know enough to be a paranormal investigator, put it that way.
Because every investigation is different. I don't think anyone could really call themselves an expert.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. You're learning all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, and there's different ways of investigating. You know, it's down to what suits you as a person or as a team. I mean, I find all teams investigate differently.
Yeah.
But
you're always learning. You can go to the same location, like Redoubt, for example.
Been there. Yeah.
We investigated that
a lot,
at least once a month for a year.
I liked it because it's one of the only locations we've been to that looks like a type of food.
A donut.
Yeah.
But every investigation, you can go to the a location so many times, but no matter how many times you go, the investigations are never going to be the same. You're never going to get the same experience. You're never going to get the same feelings. It's always different. So if you are a team that focuses on one location, you still can't really call yourself an expert because it's always different.
I agree. And also, all you become is like well informed about that particular location.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to the point where we're not going to investigate Redoubt ever again because we've done it enough.
We've done it enough. We've sort of.
And every time we've gone there, we've got something different. But I think, everything we feel like we could gain from Redoubt, we've gained it. And we've kind of sort of we've been spent in terms of our time there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you was there at Fort Redoubt, did you, because you was there so much over that course of a year, did you build up a whole case file on that, or did you go in and just do the same investigation each time?
No, we did.
We tried different things.
We did, we sort of focused investigations on, we'd select 3 rooms. And we'd focus one investigation on just them 3 rooms, and then the next time we went, it'd be 3 different rooms.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing every room in the fort and built up a case file on it.
And then we tried different experiments.
But we always found
styles and stuff.
Yeah, but we always found that because we were there so much, the spirits started to know us by name, and we started to know them by name.
That's cool.
So like AJ in the cells. He is such a nice spirit to talk to, but he won't talk to many people. But he's such a nice spirit to talk to. And every time we were there, he would be the first one to come and say hello. It didn't matter what we were doing, EVPs, anything. He was the first one. But then he'd just go and do his thing.
Yeah. Like I said, we did get to know the location very well. I mean, if the wind was a certain strength and blowing in a certain direction, you're kind of guaranteed for doors to start opening by themselves. Mm-hmm. And obviously, depending on which way the wind was blowing, certain sounds would travel the way down into the fort as well.
Like we knew we could stand on one of the staircases that went down into the Jones room. If you stood on that and the wind was blowing in a certain direction, you could shout and people would hear it on another set of stairs because the wind would carry it.
Mm. It's because it's a very odd. Well, for a fort, it's not an odd shape, but in terms of regular buildings, it is a very odd shape.
Yeah.
So you know, it's perfectly round, basically. So
It's awesome. It is an awesome location, but you do have to be really, really aware of your audio there, don't you? Because, like you say,
definitely.
sound travels incredibly well. I mean, we had a split team when we were there, and we were in the tea room just having like a tea, and there was people in the cell, and they were coming over, and we weren't shouting or carrying on or doing anything major. We were just talking quietly. And they were like, "We can hear you." We were like, "But we're being really quiet," you know. But it's just the way the whole place is set out, isn't it? It really is.
I mean, I'm not saying this specifically about Readout, because I personally don't know enough about infrasound to give an opinion, but I'm pretty sure that infrasound would probably play a part in some of the activity people might get there because of the unique shape of the building. I mean, like I said, I don't know enough about it. I might be wrong, but that's how I feel anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
like I said, I'm not an expert in this.
It is an amazing location. I just think we spent too much time there.
Yeah.
And nothing was surprising to us. Nothing sort of got us going, "Oh, that's amazing."
No, I mean, when we first investigated, we were told that there was an evil spirit in Joan's room, but
we all stayed. Every single team member sat there on our own.
We got a lot of activity there, but never anything I would describe as malicious.
No, I'd say he was a bit moody. Like, I'd say he was moody and he was quite a nasty, obnoxious spirit.
Yes,
but I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say he was malicious. I wouldn't say he was demonic.
No, I would not have said that either. I would said what I picked up when I was there was somebody that was just quite a nasty person. Quite frankly,
he was nasty in
like
life.
Like a moody old bastard.
Yeah.
He was moody
your swear
in
words,
life.
don't you, Alex?
He does. It's bad, isn't it? He was.
I'm not saying any of the big three, so don't panic.
He was moody. It's like he was moody in life, so he's moody in death, and he kind of just wants to be left alone.
Yeah, and he got quite grumpy when you started like trying to, you know, like talk to him and stuff. He was quite like that. It was almost
but then
like,
he's
get
a military
out,
man,
leave me alone.
And that
exactly,
room was
military.
He's a military man, and
that
if you
room
don't
was
know,
also impossible to take pictures in as well because
really dusty
because of the dust and moisture in there. It was ridiculous.
But at the end of the day, he was a high-ranking military man, and if he doesn't want to talk to you and you try and force him, of course he's going to tell you to, you know,
go away.
Do one.
No, I mean, of course he's going to say that.
Yeah, we had exactly the same thing when we were there. But as I say, I would not have labelled him a demonic or anything ridiculous like that. It was exactly how you said.
I've never experienced anything demonic.
I'm just like, he's just
apparently all the demons are in America anyway, so with one.
He's just a grumpy old man.
Yeah, he was, like you say, he was a military man who was used to people taking orders from him, not giving, not taking orders, as it were. Do you know what I mean? He's that kind of character, isn't he? And he's just quite grumpy with it and expects people to do what he tells them to do. And if you're not doing what he tells you to do, he gets quite pissed off about that. Excuse the French.
He gets abrupt.
Yeah.
He's abrupt. I wouldn't say he was nasty. I'd say he's abrupt. He's used to going, no, you do as I tell you.
Yes, exactly.
Because of who he is. And I think especially with a lot of military locations, that is the kind of reaction you get.
Mm-hmm.
You will. That is the reaction you'll get. You'll get, you're a civilian. I don't need to talk to you.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I agree with Readout. So what other locations have you done quite a lot as Living Paranormal?
Well, we've done Fort Amherst in Chatham, which we like. Personally, I've had my best paranormal experience at Fort Amherst. I was in the tunnels on my own, and I hate to admit this, but I lasted 10 minutes. Again, I don't feel as if there's anything malicious there, but again, it's a military location, and I think some of them were probably nasty in life. So he just carries over into their afterlife.
I mean, at the end of the day, think of it this way: we're going in there, and 90% of teams ask the same question day in, day out. They're going to be fed up of it.
Yeah.
They're going to be fed up of it and just be like, I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk to me like I'm a human. Don't talk to me like... Don't talk down to me. I don't want to talk to you about how I died. That's not something I want to remember.
I mean, I was
Just leave
because
it.
at Fort Amherst, you have like the tunnel network built into the side of the cliff that goes up to the top, where the actual fortifications are. I was in the tunnels on my own, and I wasn't asking them specific questions. I was just asking them to like prove to me that they're there politely. And I think literally within about 5 minutes, there was like there's barrels that are down in the tunnels. There was a bang on one of them, and then behind me, it was as if someone was scratching on the wall with something. I mean, I'm going to say obviously like a sword or a bayonet or something was scratching on the wall behind me. And then I just felt really sort of claustrophobic, so I started basically walking out and talking to myself, as you do, to try and sort of reassure yourself. And just at the door, just before you go out into the car park, because at the time I felt like as if someone touched me, and I said that, and at the same time there's an EVP of a man going, "Yep,"
like fully agreeing with you.
Yeah. So, and then the really weird thing was there was actually a growl as I walked out, which we can't explain.
Fort Amherst is an amazing location.
It's a very weird location. I'm not saying that growl was from something demonic at all, because but it was very weird.
We've been to Fort Amherst so much, and it's one location that I've never felt concerned in.
Oh, cool!
No,
Ever. That's always nice.
That's the only time when I felt
like I've walked
dodgy.
through that whole location on my own with nothing, no light, nothing. Just wandered through it, and I have no problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the tunnels aren't particularly dark now because they put emergency lighting in there, like the fire exit signs and stuff. So they're not pitch black anymore.
I mean, the best thing about Fort Amherst is a spirit there. His name's Edward. He's a military man, obviously, and the guy that runs the investigation, Clive, he's turned around and said Edward makes himself known, but he doesn't talk very much unless he likes you. And whenever we're there, Edward plays up. He starts like moving stuff. He'll give you EVPs. When I haven't been there, he's asked for me by name.
It's taking a fancy to you.
He's a really nice guy.
Has.
He has.
He touched her ass.
Like I had a chalk handprint on my butt. But
and it like wasn't any of us, obviously.
He's so sweet though. He's
Yeah.
such a sweet man. Yeah, I have no problem with him at all.
And we also investigated the unrestored area. I don't know how many teams have been there, but I know not many have had the chance to do it. And the unrestored area, there's a certain part of it that feels worse than the tunnel network.
There's a certain part of it that's oppressive, but again, I wouldn't say...
It's not evil, it's just very...
Only men were up there, though.
Yeah, it's very sort of...
It's oppressive if you're a woman, because you're not supposed to be up there.
I mean, like, the only women they had up there were ladies of the night. You know,
we've come across a few of those as well. So, of all the locations you've investigated, what's one of your favourites?
Rotham Control Tower.
Rotham Control Tower and Fort Amherst.
Mind you, to me, I can't 100% say, because like we focus a lot of our investigations on like military locations.
Okay.
Because my spirit guide is a World War II American airman, and we focus a lot of our investigations around the 8th Air Force.
Yeah.
And especially on certain airfields like Rotham and Ridgewell, and like just general.
Yeah, I mean,
Ludden and stuff like that.
we've been to a few abandoned like places on airfields and stuff that we've investigated. But I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, we have tended to focus on military locations quite a lot. But I mean, we've done Moray Furnace,
Hever Castle.
We actually did Hever Castle because we stayed there the night, and you still have access to the grounds. So we went in the rounds and did
That
some
was fun.
EVP work. We used the SB7 and we had people talking to us in French.
Wow.
Which was really weird. And
not weird at all when you look at Anne Boleyn's history.
Well, yeah, obviously.
It is when we're trying to speak French.
Yeah,
you reckon at your book.
I mean,
it didn't look good.
No, but because I mean that is the thing, because obviously you do get radio interference through the SB7 and you have to sort of decipher which is which, and obviously there's not going to be any sort of radio networks in the Hever Castle area that are going to be talking fluent French.
No.
And the French, it would come and go, it would be there and then sort of disappear, and then 10 minutes later we'd have people talking to us in French again.
Mm-hmm. I really do, because we've also been investigating spirits of the Boleyn family.
Yeah.
And we've been to like Sow Church and Blickling Hall, Hever, or the church in Blickling as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's been quite a few places that we've gone to, and we've actually spoken, and I can't 100% say if it's the Boleyn family or not, but they have, like, we've asked them what their names are, and they have confirmed to us that it's either Thomas Boleyn or it's George Boleyn. We've had several male voices saying Anne Boleyn, several of them.
Okay.
And like, we were in Sow Church, and I asked the question. I said, "Are the rumours true?"
Sow Church is a church in Norfolk where some of her relatives are buried.
Yeah, I said, "Are the rumours true?" Is like Anne Boleyn buried within this church, because the legend is she was moved.
Yeah.
And we had a male voice say yes. So a few nights later, we were at Blickling Hall, and like, we were at Sal. And when I asked at Sal if it was her father, if Thomas Boleyn had said this to me, this male voice, and he said yes. And I was like, okay, that's crazy. So we were in Blickling, and then in Blickling, I said, I'm calling out the spirits of Thomas Boleyn. Did you tell me that Anne was buried in the church yesterday, or like a few days ago? And he says, yes, I did.
Wow.
So it's like a confirmation in two different locations.
Yeah. That's great. I love that.
It's insane. But my favourite location is Rotham. I love that little place.
Yeah, it's a great little location, isn't it, Rotham Tower? I've been to Rotham Tower, and I loved that. Thought it was brilliant.
I love that
again,
place.
and there isn't anything malicious there at all, but you can get a lot of activity and a lot of things happening there, because the spirits that are there seem more than willing to sort of communicate with you, and especially if you don't ask the usual crap and you actually sort of talk to them as people, that they're a lot more communicative.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with
awesome.
you there. If you know your staff, they're well happy to talk.
We were offering them whiskey and cigarettes and stuff, and they all responded to that.
I loved it.
But the weirdest thing that's ever happened there, and this has never happened on a location ever before.
It's just
it was your mum getting possessed, but it was weird. I mean, she's never got possessed before, but what was weird about it?
My mum's about as psychic as a brick.
What was weird about it is that she got possessed by someone with a Yorkshire accent.
But there was a man
But
on the airfield.
apparently, someone that lived near the airfield was actually originally from Yorkshire, like years ago.
Yeah.
And that was weird because it was completely unexpected. Not only the possession, but the voice that came out of your mother.
It was a really deep male voice. It was really odd.
It was, it's still her voice, but it was deeper. It was a different accent, and your mum's uses of accents.
So are you.
So am I. And any accent I ever do ends up becoming something else.
Completely.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
No, I'm the same as you. Don't worry, Alex. I'm the same as you. I try and do an accent, and it goes off into a different part of the country or world completely.
I don't want people to start accusing me of racism.
You do a Welsh and it goes Indian. It's brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, it was so weird, and I mean, it was literally. It was about 10 minutes we were talking to this person through your mother.
She was devastated.
It was weird.
She was scared.
Yeah, I mean, we took half-hour break and then we were investigating again. But it was very, very weird.
Yeah, but she wasn't. She kept like disappearing because she didn't know how to take it.
Yeah,
it was really odd.
But one good thing about Rotherham as well, it's probably one of the only locations where we've had a proper conversation with a spirit using the SB7. I mean, literally for about 15-20 minutes we were talking to a spirit named Paul through the SB7, and it was even like sort of complex answers. Like, we asked him
if he smoked, and he said no. We asked him
he said his favourite alcoholic drink was Jim Beam. He actually said Jim Beam. And we asked him what he did, and he said he was a bombardier. It was sort of quite complex in
and then
his
the next time we went, we had a woman come through and say Paul's gone.
Yeah, because and the next time we went there, we weren't able to get any communications with Paul, and another spirit said
Paul's gone.
We asked where he was, and she said that Paul had gone.
Oh,
so yeah, it was odd. But the first time we went there, we got like 30. Within 30 minutes, we got 30 either EVPs, SB7 responses, or noises that we couldn't explain.
It was intense.
But one thing I will say about Rotherham, though, that the floor in the control room is so sensitive. You have to stand as still as possible or sit down.
Yeah.
And if it's windy, again, you have to be very, very aware, because it's right on the edge of a field and it's flat. Obviously, it's an airfield, so you're going to need a wind.
But obviously, Rotherham's our favourite location because we're actually working there now. We've actually volunteered to work there.
Oh, cool.
And obviously, we chose it for the Parafest because Rotherham has to be the favourite location.
I was going to say, that gives us a nice little overview of what the convention's location is actually for people who are thinking of attending. Now, let's talk about the Living Paranormal Parafest, because you've got some awesome things going on there, haven't you?
We have, yeah. Obviously, although technically we have more than 13 guests, because the magazine is, we also have horror writers and stuff appearing in it. We've got 2 other guests that I need to announce who will be joining us, who are horror writers, and they're going to be giving a reading from their books and talking about various things that they do, as well as a friend of ours called Caitlin McCall, who's from Canada, and she is a horror writer as well. She'll be coming over.
Because Living Paranormal Magazine we have people from all over the world that write for us. So we have people like guests like Jack Kenner and John DeZoa and stuff joining us on
Kenner,
Skype.
Who in the UK, I think the show's Paranormal Investigators. In America, it's what is it called in
Haunted
America?
Case Files, or something.
Haunted Case Files. He will be giving a talk over Skype. We're going to have a projector set up.
We have
John DeZoa, who worked for the FBI for 25 plus years, and he actually investigated paranormal cases for the FBI.
Okay.
So
like
basically,
a real life
X-Files man.
His nickname is the X-Man, because the X-Files was so similar to what he was actually doing, to the extent that his hierarchy bosses called him in and they had to talk to him, because one of the episodes, although he can't actually say which one, was very similar.
Yeah, they thought
to a case that he was working on.
Oh my goodness!
It all turned out just to be a big coincidence.
But yeah, we've got a lot of guest speakers talking about anything from paranormal, spirit lights, how to protect yourself, crystals, witchcraft.
Yeah, and Anthony Cherry is a shaman. We're talking
aliens,
about
Jack the Ripper. There's just loads of stuff going on.
Yeah, and let's go over the guests. Anthony Cherry, who's a shaman, will be talking about how to get in touch with spiritual animals, I believe. Ashley Nibb It is Nib, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The K's silent. Yeah, so it's only because of that stupid advert with the knoppers when it should be knoppers, right?
Just calm down.
So I'm confused now. I can't say a word with a K and N at the start without worrying that the K is not silent.
It's Ashley Nib.
So Ashley Nib, obviously, who's a blog writer. We talk about things.
Very good friend of mine, I'd like to add.
I know. You suggested I should talk to him.
That's very true.
Obviously, yourself and anyone listening to this knows you well enough.
Oh yeah, that's true.
When you because was it spiritual? It was spiritual, not spiritual. Crystal gridding.
Yes, I do crystal gridding in the paranormal field, don't I?
I kept misreading it. I kept thinking you were saying crystal grinding.
Well, grinding, gridding,
and
I could do both.
I was like, okay, we're going to make fairy dust. And then I can remember them. And then Sean Cadman and Vivian Powell, who obviously run Paraforce, are going to be giving talks.
Vivian's my partner in crime, so I don't know how well this is going to go.
and hopefully Sean will get some bigger sizes and make me a good T-shirt, because he's started making T-shirts and they're really cool. And Michael D, who we all know, hopefully he'll be bringing out his Mericalora for us all, even though he did kill him. No,
we're going to communicate with him.
Yeah, we'll communicate with him through a Ouija board.
That would be so cool.
David Cook, who we were talking about before the show started, who runs the Ghostly Hour on Sunday evenings on the KCOR network.
Yeah.
Spectre Seekers.
Our friends Paul and Nigel from Spectre Ghost Seekers, two really nice guys.
Jack the Ripper expert.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's so many.
Russell Stephen Edwards.
It's a real eclectic mix of people that you've got coming, isn't it?
There's so many that I can't remember them all.
I've actually got a list in front of me. I think you've covered most of them.
I should have had the list in front of me.
Chris Huff, Haunted Airfield.
Chris Huff.
He's cool.
He's not on social network. He doesn't like it, but he's written various books about haunted airfields around the UK, so it seemed perfectly natural to have him give a talk.
Yeah,
yes,
but
yeah.
It's a complete mix of everything, and we haven't really singled anybody out because we actually have things for like children, like bouncy castles and stuff like that, so it can be like a big family day out.
Yeah, we're planning on having things there for the kids, basically.
Yeah, we've got like
and hopefully some military vehicles as well.
And we're doing like history walks to the location,
ghost
walks, but we were doing ghost walks for adults and ghost walks for children, so like funny ghost stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone can go and nobody's singled out because it really needs to be something that will bring a fresh perspective on everything.
Yeah, I mean, get them while they're young. That's what.
Well, being as Helena started at 14, why not get them interested young?
And it's obviously we there's going to be things there for children to do, but I mean we're trying to cover as many aspects of the paranormal as possible. I mean, I think the only thing missing is cryptids, but it's like it's sort of, it's like I guess it's like an old like 1940s fate, because we're going to have like jumble sales stalls and stuff like that. Yeah. We're sort of mixing history. We're going to be playing 1940s music as well.
We're mixing history with the paranormal, but we're making sure that it's inclusive for everyone, so nobody's left out.
Yeah.
And we're also we've also made sure that it's very affordable for people, because
not many people have money these days.
No, it's
true that.
And I mean, with us, because we don't really, we're not in the paranormal for money at all.
No, we've never done anything to make money off people in the industry.
Like all of our profits, everything we make,
profit-wise,
are going to the museum trust and to the Poppy Appeal.
Yeah.
So, like, none of it's coming to us. Everything's going to charity, and that's what we're going to do with every single one of our Paracons from now on. It will literally be to raise money for something that we hold close to our hearts. And military charities are obviously something that I hold really dear to me.
Yeah, I mean, we have a friend of ours who, funny enough, works at Hever Castle. I mean, he was in Iraq.
Love you, Darren, you freak.
And he won't be listening. He'll be working, sitting at a desk.
Sitting at a desk, not answering the phone. Yeah. I know.
That's okay. He can listen to it back on podcast, so he'll know that you've given him a shout out.
But I mean, I'm not going to go into details about his stories he's told us because they are personal. But
yeah,
I mean, he's had friends.
He's an ex-squaddy.
He's had friends die in Iraq, and you know that's who we're raising money for. You know, some people see, for some reason, see the poppy appeal or whatever as a kind of sort of political thing. But it's not about whether or not the war's right or wrong. It's about the fact that there's men and women fighting for our country, and they deserve our respect. They
deserve the support, because it's not as if, like, military personnel, especially when they leave the army, that the support isn't there.
No.
If the money's not there, the support's not there.
I mean, from what we've read and heard about, especially in terms of mental health, and one of the things that money to the poppy pill goes towards is, you know, counselling and therapy and things like that to help soldiers who have suffered mental
I've had
hardship from fighting in wars and things like that.
I mean, all my life I've been around people that have been in the military, like my brother's best mate, who's pretty much my brother, my adopted brother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and if I can do anything to help the people that are fighting for everything, then I will do what I can. And as I don't need the money, and Living Paranormal doesn't need the money, we're not in it for money.
Mm-hmm.
Best thing I can do is really give it to a charity that I admire and I hold dear to my heart, and that's just one of them that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like we said, we're splitting the money between the Poppy Pill and the Museum Trust.
Well, we have to keep our favourite location open.
I mean, yeah.
Well, there is that too, isn't there? Yeah.
They're specifically there to, you know, remember the 94th Bomber Group, and obviously, people who are in bombers and stuff. There were, you know, a lot of them lost their lives. I mean, you know, thousands, and they're there to make sure they're remembered, and they still, you know, talking to people in America who had relatives that were there. I mean, there's still a couple of veterans who are still alive. And
I mean, that's another reason we chose the control tower, because we are going to be having like posters of the men that fought from that airfield and all their information and everything they did. So we want people to come face to face with history and realise that this is something you need to remember.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now you can camp, can't you? You can actually camp at the airfield.
Yeah, if you like living it rough, you can camp.
You can come camping with us.
I mean, until recently, we were planning on putting some blow-up mattresses in the back of our car. But although the car we've got is bigger than our last one, you can't take the seats out, and there's like hardly any boot space for some reason. So we don't know what we're going to be doing at the moment.
I'll just sleep in the car.
We'll probably get a tent or something. But yeah, you can camp if you wish to. Otherwise,
there's food stalls. But
if you somewhere.
if you are camping with us, you do for the price of the camping, you do get a continental breakfast included with the price of the camping. So.
Yeah, we're planning on like doing
So you know, there's going to be a buffet for everyone, so you don't just get up.
We're going to make sure there's plenty of milk and cereal. And,
everything. So
you know. A fruit bowl, and
it's all included. I mean, if you're gonna,
I'm not gonna go around making eggs Benedict and anything like that.
I'm disappointed with you, Alex.
It's not a bed and breakfast.
He can't even fry.
I can fry an egg perfectly, but I cannot poach one to save my life.
And the Benedict part is just beyond your capability, correct?
That's just the sauce. I can buy that in a jar.
True that. Yeah, true that.
But,
now, this is on August the 25th and the 26th. August the 25th and the 26th, so it's over the Saturday and the Sunday. How much is a ticket?
Monday, at the end of August. Well, it depends what you want to do, really. I mean, if you just want to turn up for a day, it's £10, I believe. Yeah, go on the website because I can't remember.
Yeah, because you're clever. You sorted this all out.
I've actually shared the link to the website for this paranormal convention into the chat room. So even if you're listening on podcast, you can still access the chat room and find the website through there. Guys, check it out because it gives you a list of all the information about what's happening on the convention, as well as further details on the guests that are speaking there, and give you a bit better of an insight into what's actually happening. It is a phenomenal location. It is a phenomenal event that's being organised in for charity at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it kicks off the paranormal convention season in the UK, doesn't it?
It
does.
does.
We now have a paranormal convention season in the UK. I love it.
Which is crazy, but
it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. If you want to come for a day, it's like £10. But I mean, what I would suggest, especially if there's two of you, get a weekend visitor pass. It's £25 for the 2 days for two people. And if you want to camp as well, then it's £35
for two people, and that gives you the camping and the visitor pass for the weekend.
For the whole weekend. And the investigation itself, if you want to take part in the investigation, it's an extra £20 per person. So if there's two of you and you want to stay for the weekend, camp and take part in the investigation, it's £75.
Mm-hmm. And that includes
and the paranormal investigation includes a buffet as well. I'm going to go to Iceland and make sure.
Yeah, the investigation itself includes food, drink, use of all the equipment. You actually get to, if you're brave enough.
I mean, obviously, bring your own equipment.
Yeah, feel free to bring your own equipment and join in. But if anyone is brave enough and they want to do a lone vigil, you're more than welcome to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally like an insight into paranormal investigating, and you get to use all the kit. You get to pretty much be an investigator for the night, and obviously everything's included with that. And then if you're camping, obviously you get food in the morning as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like I said earlier, we're going to be doing a continental breakfast.
Fantastic! I'm really looking forward to this one because Parasearch are actually your official radio station for this, aren't we?
You are.
That's why we're on now, right?
You are.
I would have you on anyway. I'm not exclusive or inclusive, whichever way it is.
We'll just guess.
Which one is it? I would have had you on anyway because I think it's incredibly important to promote the entire paranormal field rather than just, well, I'm nothing to do with it, so I won't have anything to do with you kind of thing. That's not how we work here at Parasearch.
There's a lot of that in the paranormal field, really, isn't there? There's a lot of arguments and bitching.
There seems to be at the moment, but I can assure you that Parasearch is not like that at all.
And if you're part of a paranormal investigation team or you do something else within the paranormal,
it doesn't have to be paranormal though.
Or you make you might arts and crafts or anything like that. You might have the opportunity to make some money yourself if you want to buy. We say vendor passes because Americans did not understand what a stall holder meant. So vendor passes / stall holder passes. It's £45 for a vendor pass, and that's for two people for the weekend, and you get a stall. Mm-hmm. To sell your trinkets / promote your team or whatever you want to do. And then it's £60 for two people, and that includes camping. Again, exactly the same, but you get camping as well. So,
So guys, if you're interested in having a stall or a vendor pass there, then get in touch with Alex or Helena or through their website and make sure you get your set in, basically. It's all going to be a fantastic event. It's going to be well attended. So I would definitely recommend you get in quick. There's some amazing speakers that will pull the crowds in for you as well as some amazing other things to do. It's not just about the speakers, this one. This one has got so much to do. It's got loads and loads of things going on. And it's got a little bit different because you can camp. And we all love a bit of the camping experience, don't we?
Oh, everyone loves a bit of camping.
A little bit of paranormal a paranormal festival.
I mean, what
with
can we
music
call
Yeah,
it?
it's
and
almost
Not-
like a
not-
paranormal festival, isn't it?
That's why we came up. That's why we decided to call it Parafest, because we felt like it was going to be a festival vibe, because there's going to be music and you get to camp. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say. Also, we have a raffle that we're starting, and obviously it's £1 a ticket, and it's for a mobile Connect unit.
Oh, wow.
And all the money from that obviously goes to the charities. There's also a competition. If any of you are brave enough to turn up in 1940s outfits,
Oh, dress
the
up.
best dressed wins one of our paranormal advent calendars.
Ooh, is it naked?
Which has a selection
Hey, what?
of random ghost stuff, like literally random Halloween.
It's not gonna be like every time you open a window, it's another part of a person's body.
Oh, shucks. I
I'll
thought
make
it
sure
might have been a
yours-
naked one.
Nick Roth wouldn't agree to
He
it.
weren't interested.
Oh, that's a shame.
But our advent calendars have 24 days, and behind at least 12 of the doors is a piece of paranormal equipment.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
So-
kind of like a mini version of Deal or No Deal.
So
That's the only way I can
the
describe
best
it.
1940s outfit wins our paranormal advent calendar. So
Yeah.
that's always cool.
And yeah, we've got to put that together, and we're making the mobile Connect unit as well. We've been sort of trying to. We've been looking at how to make a mobile Connect unit.
We know how to make it, but I want to enhance it.
We know how to make it. It's just we want to make sure we get the good parts and a decent enough tablet device, because sometimes when you buy them from other people, the tablet isn't
Great.
powerful enough, and some of the parts are a bit flimsy and stuff. So we've been like sort of looking into it.
Cool.
And the website for the Paracon is livingparanormal.net, which isn't our official magazine website, but we made a separate one for the Paracon.
Yeah.
So while we're on conventions, Helena is actually speaking at another convention this year. She's actually speaking at...
I wasn't
Sorry?
asked to be a speaker.
Oh, you're a little bit miffed.
Probably because
You're boring?
Vivian and I talk utter crap. Let's be honest.
So, Helena, what can we expect from you at Paraforce? Quickly, because I'm sure that Sean's going to interview you all by yourself, but just give us a quickie.
I am talking about astrobiology and alien abductions. I've been studying astrobiology, which is a study of molecular life off of Earth. So, obviously, how the life on Earth and the origins of life on Earth, how we go about looking for life on other planets that are not our home, not on our home body. So, you know, when people hear extraterrestrial life, they usually straight away think about aliens. The first thing they think of is the little greys with the big eyes.
Yeah.
But in all reality, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for molecular life. We're looking for life that has some substance to evolve, and how it would evolve to become intelligent life. And if there is intelligent life out there, what does that mean for us? And if there isn't, then how comes we're alone? So it goes into the human psyche quite a bit, because you ask yourselves questions like, if we are alone, why? If there's intelligent life, how would we go about contacting them? How would we deal with the fact that they are probably higher advanced than we are?
That's not difficult.
If we were
more advanced than
if we were to move onto another planet, how would we go about keeping Earth alive? How would we go about saving that
and adapting to
the new planet? It's a whole mix of how life on other planets is found, and how possible it is to have proper alien life. And then I talk about my own experiences with aliens and my own abduction experiences, as well as show my abduction marks and my bruising and my needle points and like certain areas of my body that have scarring that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I can vouch. It's proper messed up, yo.
It goes into like, I'll go into detail about how what I believe and what has happened to me.
So it's not just although sort of our first thing is ghosts. Helena has a lot of more experience as well with alien stuff, and you love UFOs and aliens and.
I do. I mean, it freaks me out, but I do like it.
And this is sort of, it's going to be the first time that she's actually spoken publicly about her experiences as well, because she never has before.
No, I decided this year I'm going to do it.
Good for you. Good for you. Well done. I'm impressed.
And she's with the astrobiology as well. She's actually writing a series of articles in the magazine about astrobiology as well. So.
That's a subject we haven't really touched on. It is your magazine, your Living Paranormal Magazine. How often it comes out? Once a month, am I right?
Once every other month.
Yeah, it's once every 2 months, starting in February every year. So the last one came out on the 23rd of February. The next one is out on the 27th of April.
Yeah, it's out a week later because we're spending a week in Sherwood Forest investigating aliens and ghosts.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, why not? Got to fit it around, haven't you? It takes so much work, though, to put together a magazine, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, because Helena is so busy.
I'm not going to lie. Alex edits everything because I'm too busy doing everything else.
Yeah. I mean, I edit the whole thing as best as I can. And obviously, I don't write everything.
You do a really good job. I couldn't do it.
But we've had lots of people lots of different people write for us. Like Jack Kenner has written a few articles.
We've had people write from Australia, America. I've had people asking if they can supply us with articles that come from like Europe, and there's people from Russia and stuff. So it's literally a worldwide community that we don't want to keep it to the same writers. We want perspective from everyone. So we really love it when investigators message us and say, can I write about my experience? Would you publish it? Because 9 times out of 10 we will, because we want other people to see it.
And we literally have people contacting us asking if we can write an article about them as well, or about a haunted location that they work at and stuff like that. Like there was a museum, I've never heard of it before, in America. I can't remember it now because it was a while ago, but they contacted us asking if we could write about their location, and there's been some teams that contact us as well. I mean, although we run it, a lot of it is based in America, because so much of our team is based out there. But obviously we do try and keep. We keep a lot of. It's an Anglo-American magazine, if anything. But
there is that crossover, isn't there, between the UK and America, very much so.
Yeah, I mean they all want to come over here and investigate, and we all want to go over there and investigate.
Yeah.
I mean, we
need to set up a like paranormal exchange system. We've spoken about this before on Parasearch. We do need to sort that out.
They've got all that. They've got. I mean, okay, there are a few prisons and asylums over here, but there's so much more in America.
So that's why we have a sister team.
Eastern State
Penitentiary
in Pennsylvania.
Forget that. Give me Alcatraz any day of the week.
And Madison and Waverley and
there's just so many out there.
There's loads of asylums and prisons, and over here we've got all the castles.
Yeah, we've got the history.
Exactly. We once lived at, our last house was older than America is.
But what I explain to people, especially if they're like people that don't really know about Living Paranormal, they don't really know about Berlin Paranormal, and they don't really know about our sister team Nova Spies, is when you write for Living Paranormal, you sort of end up being part of
a community,
a family.
Yeah. And,
you talk to people and you get to know them, and like we count you as part of our paranormal family. And
hell yeah.
Every day, day, someone else is like talking to you and they join it, and you realise that, you've never met these people before, but you have this connection with them, and there is true, like there's love there for them, and you love them to pieces, and that's pretty much what Living Paranormal is.
The magazine is very much about para-unity.
It is.
I mean, some people think that it's a load of crap, but I personally think para-unity is possible. I think the only way it wouldn't be possible if people's egos overtook things, and I think some people need to lose their egos in the industry, and if they do that, then we can work together towards one goal, which is trying to prove the existence of life after death or extraterrestrial life. You know, we do need to work together more. We do need to get on more, and that's what the magazine's about. And we try to incorporate as many different people as possible.
But we don't really shut it just to poetry.
Yeah, we have poetry,
horror.
artwork, horror fiction as well.
Everything I love.
Exactly. And we talk about the occult, crime, murder. I mean, I've written about Jack the Ripper in the magazine. I mean, the next issue, this year, each issue is going to it's going to incorporate everything in the paranormal, obviously, but we will sort of have a theme for each issue. I mean, the last one was aliens and things like that. The next one is going to be a cult special, so we're going to have articles about Charles Manson, Jim Jones, and I'm going to be sort of looking into the Nazis and their interest in the occult and things like that. So yeah, I mean that's basically the magazine.
Phenomenal. And I totally agree with you. Things like the paranormal magazines, the radio podcasts, not just ours, but all the others, get people talking. They get people connecting with each other. And the conventions, it all helps to bring this field together a little bit more than it seems to have been at times. And I'm starting to have faith in the paranormal community a little more than I have been at certain times.
I've watched people on Twitter and people on Facebook have arguments and stuff, and I just sort of sit there with my popcorn and watch and wonder why the hell are these people arguing.
It's not just the paranormal industry. I think it's something that the whole human race need to understand.
Yeah,
is that it doesn't matter what skin colour you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, everybody on this earth is a soul, and us in the paranormal industry, we are looking for them souls that no longer have a vessel. They no longer have a vessel, but they're still people. There's still a soul there. Just because the vessel isn't there doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
At the end of the day, when you pass away and your vessel dies and you are no longer trapped to this body, you are the same as everybody else. There's no point in making an enemy of anyone, because at the end of the day, when you're in the spirit world, you've made that enemy. Why? Because if they come for you, no one's going to stick up for you because you deserve your comeuppance. And there just needs to be more unity and love between everybody, because what's the point otherwise?
True. Very, very
There's no
true.
point
Very
in being
well
a violent race. There's just no point in it.
We're all pink in the middle.
We're too savage. We're too savage, and it's just like, you just need to sort it out.
Yeah.
And there has to be love. And if there's love in the paranormal community, even if
there's enough crap going on in the world right now. So.
Even if para-uni only exists between 5 teams, 10 teams, it doesn't matter, because that para-unity is stronger than the bitching that goes on.
I agree with that. Definitely. I definitely agree with that.
Your paranormal posse.
Yeah, your paranormal
posse. Yeah, I like that.
And
we've actually come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on the Paranormal Concept Show. Tomorrow night on Parasearch Radio, we kick off at 8 p.m. with the Supernatural Chat Show. That's with Sean Cadman. He's got the lovely Lee Roberts in the studio talking about Haunted Events UK, the Haunted 7, and of course, Lee is a speaker at Parafest as well. We all get to meet all these guys, Helena. How fantastic is that?
There we go. Are any of them good looking? Because otherwise I'm not interested.
You're married, girl. You're not allowed.
Yeah, but have you seen it?
I'm going to go and chat up Joe Chin.
Go for it.
Followed at 9 p.m. by Haunted Histories, and where Penny is looking at Prague, underground Prague, and all the hauntings and history of that particular city. Prague is a city, I believe. Well, she might correct me tomorrow. She might correct me tomorrow.
I think it's in Austria.
You're good. It's a city. Thank
you. I got that far. I tell you, honestly, me and geography, awful. One area I'm not very good at.
I'll give you a clap.
I think Most Haunted did a live week there actually. So yeah.
Yeah,
We're
it's very gothic, if I remember rightly.
It is.
It's a place I want to go to.
Yeah, I've got so many places on my bucket list, it's untrue. Going on my geography, I was asked whether I'd be okay getting on a train somewhere, and I said, as long as you get me on the right train, I'll be fine. That's always the challenge for me.
That's why I like using this. That's why
That bodes well, doesn't it?
That's why I like using the Circle line in London Underground, because then at least I know I'm going to end up back where I started.
Exactly, you're always going to end up in the right place.
Advice to any listeners: if Kerry ever gives you directions, don't follow them.
This is so true, Helena. Trust me, you don't know how true you are on this one.
Don't do it, because you won't. You'll end up somewhere else.
Well,
You'll end up like 7 miles down the road.
Just quickly, we went on a little. We were going to a ghost hunt in Hampstead, and we got to Hampstead, and it was actually Hampstead Heath. I didn't realise there were 2 stations, and they're like 20 minutes apart from each other.
Classy.
We missed the ghost walk.
We did that in Colchester. We got off at Colchester North, not realising it wasn't central, and then we were like, "We've got to walk 20 minutes into town now."
The first time we went to Mitchelton Priory, we went on the train. It took me 2 hours because I went on the wrong train.
Oh dear. You've got to love public transport, is all I can say. Check your locations before you go. There's a little tip for you. Check your journey planner.
And while I remember, Living Paranormal Magazine.com is the website. I didn't mention it. And we're on Facebook and Amazon. So yeah.
And YouTube and Instagram. Just stalk us on everything. Go for it.
And if you want to connect to them, talk to Helena, talk to Alex. They'll be more than happy to connect to you. If you want to submit an article to their magazine, or you want to go to the convention, or just talk to them about anything paranormal, these guys are fantastic, and they will be more than happy to talk to you. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me in the studio tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
I
know we're mentals, but
it was a pleasure, my darling.
Oh, my darling. And on that note,
darling.
I bid you a very farewell. Good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.